One of my favorite things to do growing up in the East Valley is driving around the farm with my dad, checking out what's growing.
And this stuff was planted, though, probably about January sometimes in February. They'll put metal stakes in with a netting over the top of it so that they can plant them a little bit earlier. Don't have to worry about the freeze.
And this stuff is the fruit of summer. When it heats up, it's all about watermelon, honeydew, and cantaloupe in Dome Valley. But they can be pretty hard to spot under their leafy green vines when you're just driving by.
Well, the first thing you're going to notice is the difference in the leaves.
So Dad breaks it all down, and it's actually pretty easy when you know what you're looking for.
This is a watermelon plant leaf.
It has 3 to 5 finger-like lobes, and it's a little bit lighter green than other melon leaves. The lobing on the honeydew leaf isn't quite as deep, and the leaf is a little more round. But the cantaloupe leaf is very different.
This one isn't quite as oak leaf shaped. It's got a little more of a roundness to it.
And it's a little darker than the others. But if you can see past the leaves...
The watermelons are pretty easy to spot. They're all kind of striped, round. And these honeydews are dark green, solid. There's no stripes on them, just about the size of them. When they're growing, they're pretty green. This is kind of what you're looking for when they're a little on the ripe side. And these are honeydews. Slice one open here. Very sweet.
Dad says the cantaloupe we found weren't quite ready yet.
Take your melon and just pull it. That thing should just slip right off this stem. Okay. It'll slip right off when it's ready to be harvested. And if you pull it off and half the stem sticks to it and half of it breaks off, it's not going to be very sweet. So you want it to completely slip off to get your good flavor.
But the watermelon harvest is in full swing. We were a little hesitant to get too close because of the swarms coming from the big white boxes. Can you tell us a little bit about what they are and what their purpose is?
Well, they're bees, and bees are needed to pollinate the crops. Without them, they'd only get about a 2 or 3% pollination, so it's real important to have a lot of bees around.
So every melon season, local farmers bring in bees by the thousands. Bees are the ones that actually pollinate the plants.
Right, yeah, pollinate flowers. Pollinate all the little flowers. They have what they call a pollinator row, which in this case on the seedless melon is a very small melon packed full of seeds, but when it pollinates with the other melons that they have that are female seeds, and they come up with a seedless watermelon. And you'll see the seedless ones are about so big around, different sizes, but the pollinators are what they say are really small.
Every few rows, the little pollinator melons are hard at work, but then their job is done, and the crews come in.
First group of people are what they call the cutters, and they're the ones going out cutting the right watermelons.
By hand?
By hand, and they lay them on top of the rows. The second group of people you see with the ribbon, the tape kind of hanging down from them, they've got a sticker, and we'll go down here and look at one, and they put a sticker on each melon that tells them who it came from, and it has a lot number on it so that they can trace everything back in case there's ever any issues with the melons.
Okay, so they can tell exactly where that melon came from in the field because of that sticker.
Right, right.
And so those stickers that they have on them in the store actually get put on them in the field?
Yes.
Once they're cut and stickered, they're headed out for sorting and boxing.
So what they're doing is they're just getting it up out of the field. The conveyor belts it over into these big bins, and then the guys in the bins, they will separate the melons by size.
And they're ready to be sent out.
So each one of those bins probably has a different size melon in it.
And then what does that do? Do they have different prices for different sizes?
Yes, yes, they do.
So even though China is the biggest producer of watermelons in the world, some are from right here in our backyard.
This homegrown segment is brought to you by the University of Arizona, Yuma.